Okay, so we've got a hot air balloon, and what's happening to it? It is reaching a speed of 400 kilometers per hour, 400 kmph, which is short for kilometers, km, kilometers, p per h hour, kilometers per hour. Anyway, convert this to miles per hour by dividing by 1.61. It's a magic dividing factor that converts this to miles per hour. So I wonder, and how many miles per hour is this? So 400 kilometers per hour is going to be something mph, miles per hour. We're going to round to the nearest whole number, right? So we're going to go 400 divided by 1.61, right? So that is that is 1.61 into 400, right?
Okay, so the answer is going to be rounded to the nearest whole number.
The answer will be rounded to the nearest whole number, yeah. So we do our trick where we say, well, we can't have a decimal in the divisor, so I've got to move that decimal point over 2 spots. And we also need to move this decimal point over 2 spots, right? And then we add a couple of zeros here.
Are you sharing your screen? I don't see your screen.
Oh my goodness, as the Pope said. All right, so we've got 1.61 into 400, and we've moved the decimal points over. So you can see that okay, right?
Yeah.
So it becomes 161 into 400 and then 2 more zeros, right? And what we've actually done, and I can't help saying this because I can't help a teaching moment, is like what we did some hocus pocus magic. We didn't do hocus pocus magic. What we did was we multiplied the top and bottom by 100, right? That's actually what we did. So anybody watching from home, I'd love if you could write this down. 400 over 1.61, multiply that by 100 over 100 and see what you get.
So it's the same thing.
Right.
For 40, yeah.
Yeah, 40,000, lovely, over, and then if I multiply $1.61 by 100, well, that dollar becomes $100, you know, and the 0.61 cents becomes $61, so it becomes $161, let's say, right? Anyway, so that's what we get. So the point is that 400 over 1.61 is the exact same quantity as 40,000 over 161, right? So what we need to do is this long division. Okay, so we do 161 into 4 won't go. 161 into 40 won't go. So what's 161 into 400? That probably goes a certain number of times, right?
Right.
And again, it goes back to guessing. I'm going to just cover off, let's say, I'll just make that a 40 and I'll make that a 16. I'll go, okay, well, 16 into 40 goes how many times, right?
To like 32.
Yeah, but yeah, so about twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because 2 16s about 30, it's 30 something, right? 32, let's say. So I'm going to guess 2 times. Again, if you guess wrong, no problem. Rub it out with your pencil, start over. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 6 is 12, carry 1. 2 times 1 is 2 and 1 is 3. And then subtract.
So that would be 8.
Right. Good, yeah. So let's see, do some carrying here because we got to go, okay, make that a 3. And that becomes a 10. Carry from that, now it becomes a 9. And that becomes a 10. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 2 is 7. Right? And 3 minus 3 is 0.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention.
No problem. So now 161 does not go into 78, which is great because it's not supposed to. That's the remainder. So it goes 2 times remainder 78, which is good. And so we've got to bring down one of these zeros, right? So bring that guy down, 780. So now we're up for a guess. Again, I'm going to block off the 1 and block off that 0, and I'm going to go, okay, so what's 16 into 78?
3?
Maybe 3?
Yeah, 3 would be 48. 16 times 3 is 48.
Right. Maybe a bit more?
16 times 5 is 80.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because half of 16 is 8. So, 5 16s is 80. Because look at 10 16s is 160. So 5 of them is 80. So 5 is probably too high. So we'll go 1 lower than 5, right?
Okay.
Another way to guess this would be you could kind of round 16 to about 20. And you could round the 78 to about 80. And that's 20 into 80 is about 4 times. See that?
Yeah.
That's another way of doing it. But essentially we're just taking a guess. But 4 is a good guess there.
Yeah.
All right. 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 6, 24, carry 2. 4 times 4 is, well, it's 4 and 2 is 6. And now subtract. So, we've got to do some borrowing. It's because 0 minus 4 won't work, so I've got to borrow from that. That becomes a 7. And this becomes a 10. So you got 10 minus 4 is 6. Yeah. And 7 minus 4 is 3. And 7 minus 6 is 1. Right? So we did good there.
Okay. And, okay, you took away 7, 3. Okay, but wouldn't you take the... I don't see how you got the 1.
Right. So 0 minus 4 won't work. We got to borrow a 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I borrow 1 from the 8, and the 8 becomes a 7, right?
Yeah.
Right. And so the 0 now becomes a 10.
Uh-huh.
So 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. And 7 minus 6 is 1.
Oh, I see now, because there was...
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I understand now.
Cool. Yeah, it's a cruel one. I mean, one mistake by golly and it all gets thrown off. Yeah. So now 136 is less than 161, which is great because it's supposed to be. This remainder needs to be less than the divisor, right? Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to add a 0 to 136?
We are indeed. We take that 0 down and put that there.
Okay.
So now it's 161 into 1360.
20. I could think of maybe 9. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? So I'm gonna blank off the 0 there. I'm going to cover off the 1. So I'm going to go 16 into 136. Let's see. Round 16 to 20. That's about 20. Round this to about 140. 20 and 140 would be 7 times. I wonder if that would work. Maybe not. because 16 is, we rounded up 16 up quite a bit. So it's 7 or probably 8 times. So I think it's rounded. I think 7 is a little low. I'm going to try 8 anyway. So I'm going to do this. 16 times 8 is 48. Carry 4. 1 8 is 8 and 4 is 12. Okay, so 8 16s is 128, right? And that looks like it might work, right? Because 100, yeah, because 8, 8 6. So we'll have 1,280 here, and I think that's going to work. So I'm going to try that. Right. So 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 6, 48. Carry 4. 8 times 1 is 8, and 4 is 12. And now subtract, right?
Would be 2, 15, 3.
Right. So 0. I'm gonna 0 won't work, and then I've got to borrow. So that becomes a 5. 5. That becomes a 5, and that becomes a 10. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 5 minus 8 won't work. Got to borrow. The 3 becomes a 2. The 5 becomes a 15. So 15 minus 8, 7. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. So that's 72, right? Which is good, which is less than 161. Now, again, we're at the point where it says we've got to round to the nearest whole number. Because the decimal point for, this is 40,000. The decimal point is here. So this decimal point is here. So we're at 248 point something. Right? But we don't know if we should round up or down, because if it's, 248 like 0.5 or more, like if it's let's say 9, then we should round to 249, right? But we don't know. Or is it 248.3, in which case we would round to 248, so we don't know, right? So we can't tell if the answer should be 248 or 249. And so that's why we have to go one more spot to figure out what this point is. We just need to know, is this 5 or less? Or sorry, is it 4 or less, or is it 5 or more? Like, what is this digit? And then we'll be able to round, right? So we got to bring down another 0. And that's 720, right? So it's 161 into 720. I'll take these zeros off the front. We don't need them, and they're confusing. Here we go. So it's kind of like 16 into 72. Right, 16 into 72. So something like 20 into 80, I guess.
So it's like 16 times 7 is 212.
Right. Right. So exactly. So it's a bit big. So 16 into 72. I'm going to round 16 to 20 and round that to 80. That's about 4 times. I'm going to guess 3 times. Or no, 4. Hold on a second. Didn't we? Well, we already did 4. Yeah. 40, yeah, 4 should work. 4, because, yeah, so if I round that to 20, round that to about 80, that's about 4 times. I'm going to guess 4. I think that's going to work. Because we actually did 4 already. 4 times 161 gave 644, and that should work here. 644 should be good, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, again, 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 6, 4. Carry 2. 4 times 1 is 4, and 2 is 6. So guess what? We got 644 again. And now subtract. So again, we got to borrow. That 2 becomes a 1. That becomes a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. And the 7 becomes a 6. And that 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 4, 7. 6 minus 6, 0. So 76 is our remainder, and that's less than 161. So we did the correct thing. This is 248.4. And so we need to round to the nearest whole number. So do we round it up to 249 or down to 248?
Down.
Correct. And I should do my wavy equal signs because it's approximately equal to 248 miles per hour. So 400 kilometers per hour is approximately 248 miles per hour.
Okay.
So there you go. The jet stream, I can't believe a hot air balloon would actually go that speed though. That's like airplane speed. Maybe the winds are going that speed, but the balloon is not. I would imagine that's what's happening. Anyway, great question.